Hey everybody, it's Nikhil and I'm back with another reaction video. So this video today is from Jamari. It is Drake Won't Stop Humiliating Himself. Like, I don't know what's tea with the man, but for some reason, I believe he responded to what UMG, their lawyers and their team put out as a response to the initial lawsuit. I believe that's what this is. For sure, Jamari will give us all the information we need. So let's see what's actually going on with Mr. Karen of hip hop / rap. Oh my bad, Drake. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share this with your friends, and let's see what's going on.
So UMG has officially responded to Drake, and they have basically told him, it's over my guy. They slapped him with this 25-page rebuttal to the judge, where they essentially played the exact same game that Drake's lawyers were playing, using song lyrics both against Drake and to bolster their argument. Only in this case they're using logic and reasoning, where Drake was using academics' YouTube streams and his own fan pages for reference.
Yeah, I want it all, that's why I strive for it. This me, you'll never hear a reply for it.
Drake, successful. Plaintiff, one of the most successful recording artists of all time, lost a rap battle that he provoked and in which he willingly participated. Instead of accepting the loss like the unbothered rap artist he often claims to be, he has sued his own record label in a misguided attempt to salve his wounds. Plaintiff's complaint is utterly without merit and should be dismissed with prejudice. Basically, they came out swinging, and making the point that everyone else already has, that if Drake had been victorious in this battle of public perception, that he would not be suing anyone. And
we wouldn't hear anything. Drake would not have anything to say. Only thing he would be saying is, "Hey DJ, play Family Matters." If he thought he won, if he did win, he would only boast. He would only make sure them records keep getting played. He would make sure it's still on every radio station across the nation. He would perform these songs. He would be doing the most. We saw what he did with Meek Mill. We know his energy. He's only pressing it because he lost.
in fact, he would likely be going on the Fuck Kendrick tour just like he did with Meek Mill. They even note here that Drake himself was encouraging Kendrick to drop a response to him for weeks, which is exactly what happened. He was even going on Instagram saying that they have nothing to drop, and that he had the red button on deck if they did, which most people now assume was his Family Matters track. And well, we all know how that ended.
That was like the spookiest diss track of all time.
Essentially, UMG comes from the angle that both of these guys said hyperbolic things about each other. Obviously, Drake was called a PDF at the Super Bowl, by the way, and the Grammys. Oh god, and at the Oscars too?
Well, we're halfway through the show, which means it's time for Kendrick Lamar to come out and call Drake a pedophile.
And Kendrick was called a wife-beating lowlife who Drake says is fathering the love child of his partner and his best friend and business associate, Dave Free. Basically, UMG is saying that Drake and Kendrick, by Drake's depiction in his lawsuit, both actually committed their share of defamation using UMG as the vehicle to do so, and that this is actually an attempt to basically limit or restrict Kendrick's right to free speech and creativity, and that the implications of this lawsuit are something that Drake has signed petitions against in the recent past. Using songs
like, how slow can we be? How slow can we be? Like, you don't even know what you were doing. Look, Drake, John Legend, Alicia Keys among those who signed letter protesting the use of rap lyrics in court. How slow can we be?
Lyrics as facts in court.
Mind, body, and soul. You need facts to take me out. Fairy tales won't do it.
These are all things I said when the lawsuit first reared its ugly head, that there is no logic behind his claims because he did all the same shit. For instance, in alternate reality where photos surfaced of Whitney being all beaten and battered, we might be looking at a totally different outcome. But to the victor goes the spoils, and for Drake's claims of adultery and abuse, there was little to no evidence to point to. That's why the claims really did not stick. Next, they really go through Drake's career and highlight the fact that they had a successful business partnership for the greater part of the last 2 decades, making him one of the most popular artists in the world during that time.
His business is selling the record, but everything that they said that they did for Kendrick is something they did for him.
And then they break down the lyrics of the songs from the beef to kind of just display that both of these
They always do that for him. It's a lot of money tied into him. Why wouldn't they do that for him? Why wouldn't they do that for others when, amazing things are happening? This is hip hop history. It's a beautiful time.
men were talking their shit to each other. Then, seemingly impatient with the time it was taking Lamar to respond, Drake released Tailor-Made Freestyle on Instagram. The recording uses artificial intelligence to make it sound as if the voices of deceased rap icon Tupac and rapper Snoop Dogg are rapping Drake's lyrics.
He did the Tupac thing.
Drop and give me 50.
Yeah. Doing the Tupac AI thing.
Right.
You talk about feeling disrespect. I mean, the whole coast, we love Tupac.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The world love Tupac.
Drake urges Lamar in the voice of Tupac to talk about Drake liking young girls. I mean, y'all have to remember, Drake said the Epstein angle was what he expected. That he plotted for weeks and fed Kendrick this information. They also note that these rumors of him having questionable relationships with underage girls in the entertainment industry have been circling for almost a decade. They even cite here the video of him and the 17-year-old girl on stage at his concert from 2010. Remember, Drake is the one who specifically brought up Millie Bobby Brown on The Heart Part 6, and to me I've always seen that as sort of a self-report, because while Kendrick said, "Oh, you like these young girls," he never mentioned any of them by name. And in his own voice, Drake raps,
Since like that, your tone changed a little. You're not as enthused. How are you not in the booth? It feels like you kinda removed. You try and let this shit die down. Nah, not this time. You're following through. I guess you need another week to figure out how to improve. What the fuck is taking so long? We waiting on you.
and then obviously the nuke was dropped on his head.
Hey, look at that. It's so enticing. You wanted this. You wanted a battle. You wanted competition. Head on. Y'all was tired of sneak dissing. You wanted, this is your doing. Kendrick, he didn't even name anybody in like that. Obviously it's implied. You know it was about you and J. Cole. But you responded and made sure to let Kendrick know to respond. You asked for this.
Head top. Now, they really continue to harp on the back and forth of the lyrics. I saw Drake fans online saying that this was pathetic, but it's like, how do you not realize that they are just being petty and showing Drake how slippery the slope he's trying to create is? They also say that he has zero grounds for his defamation case, and I feel like even if he did, he should be suing Kendrick, not UMG, because the words said with alleged malice all came out of his mouth. They then cite several defamation lawsuit attempts that
I think he won't ever sue Kendrick. Lord knows he wants to sue Kendrick. Every fiber in his being wants to sue Kendrick. But I think, as far as hip hop, the culture, like our culture, not his culture, our culture would look so lowly. Like it would be so scrutinized for him to do something like that to Kendrick. So he don't need that on his record, because for what we calling him for suing the label, UMG and everything, what we calling him for suing UMG would have been 10 times worse if he actually sued Kendrick for what happened. Especially when you ask for it. But we don't do that. Snitching, this is snitching, a form of it. Somehow, some way. Well, you shouldn't have did this neither. But to sue Kent, he will never. He at least got some sense. Let's give him some claps for that. He got some sense. He know not to do that. But if it wouldn't be frowned upon, he would have been sued. Been sued Kendrick. Been sued him.
Public figures filed, they quickly got dismissed. For those of you that don't know, defamation is
He would have sued him when Meet the Grams came out. Same day, that night, baby. He would have Meet the Grams. He would have sued him that night and added to it when Not Like Us dropped, baby. I'm telling you.
Extremely hard for a public figure to try and prove, and to say someone acted with true malice is almost impossible to prove. Basically, the filing says, Drake, you are a huge hypocrite and a really sore loser, and you have no justification for your claims that will hold up in court.
I study rap battles for a living.
So this is honestly going exactly like I thought it would, and it's even funnier to watch all the Drake dick riders crash out on Twitter. It has been damn near a year since this all started, and they have fought tooth and nail every single day trying to twist and turn the narrative in their favor.
Embarrassing!
Obviously Drake's not fucking banging underage girls.
He can get any girl he wants.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like, I think Drake won that beef.
Garbage,
Drake
yeah.
revived Kendrick's career.
100%.
Yeah, come on, I mean.
It's really like Kendrick did permanent damage to some of these fools. Like they're out here hiding his albums at the store.
Wow.
Doxing people and threatening lives over Billboard charts. This one girl, the Kendrick fan, even went out to the place that they were going to meet up to fight.
If any of y'all wanted to know, I am here. I'm still here.
Squabble up.
Yeah, still waiting.
Now, to me, both of these people should be ashamed of themselves, because they have let this internet shit go way too far. They are way too invested. Like, whether you like Drake or Kendrick, it will never be worth losing your life.
And then they get people to push a narrative, and then you become a human bot. Don't be a bot-ass nigga. You know, don't be programmed to say something that's not true because it's somebody else's agenda because you heard other bots say it.
And even when Drake dropped his most recent album on Valentine's Day, which I actually thought was a decent record, his fans couldn't even truly enjoy it because their boogeyman had and has had the #1 song in the world with Luther, and has now been beating Drake's album in sales months after GNX was released. An album with half the amount of songs, by the way, with several of his singles retaining very high placement on the charts. And this was all despite Drake allegedly paying people trying.
Yeah, Gloria in the Heart Part 6 on Kendrick's GNX album, a masterpiece. Like, I don't know. Like, I love Drake. Like, I love them both. But I have a special place in my heart for Kendrick because I found him Section 80, and even the tape before that, I can't think of the name. But Janae was on that one. So I have a decade plus in on Kendrick. Drake too, obviously, but Kendrick music just hits a little different. It just hits a little different. So Gloria and the Heart Part 6, them two like my favorite songs on the album. What are y'all favorite songs? Put that down in the comments.
To manufacture trends for songs from his new album.
Just break down what you've been doing with Drake and Party Next Door's team for their album launch. We did 53 million views in a week. His album went #1 in 7 days. They gave us a budget to pay out their audience, pay out clippers and UGC creators to just make content like around the album, anything related. So we're paying 70 cents per 1,000 views for UGC creators to make like videos reacting to it, lip syncing, dancing.
And you guys basically created like the Nokia trend.
Yeah, it's cooking right now. I can't escape it.
That is the exact same shit that he was accusing Kendrick and UMG of doing to manufacture a hit for Not Like Us. While his fans encouraged people to stream the album in their sleep, and some of them were even out here buying 30 copies to try and propel him up the charts.
That makes me think about that trend I keep seeing on TikTok. It is so hilarious. The Superman or Spider-Man where they get down for Spider-Man and Superman jump. Oh my god. That is so funny. That is comical. So it's an option to get paid to do that. That's what them people getting their money for, and like push that song out to other people. That makes sense. Oh Lord, my waist beads. My waist beads was all up here. Y'all wasn't gonna say that.
And that's not to even mention the accounts who have been running propaganda plays with steak ads for the last 9 months, spreading blatant lies every single day to millions of accounts. And even comparing his situation to Emmett Till, like some of y'all have lost the fucking plot. On another front though, I did want to talk about Drake's tour in Australia, because it got cancelled about halfway through, with his team stating that it was due to a scheduling conflict.
So Drake has actually just cancelled the remaining dates on the Australia and New Zealand tour.
They're suppressing him in Australia too?
Yo, shut up.
UMG reached crazy!
You get on my
up.
nerves.
Wow!
Which people were not buying at all.
Fans are pissed off because they have all these shows now that are canceled, and they're trying to figure out what is happening, because the reason that was given was just scheduling conflict, and people are like, that makes no sense. What is a scheduling conflict? This is supposed to be a tour. Y'all supposed to have it together. They're like, he's not committed to his fans. They think that there's something underlying here. There's something really, really wrong. I don't know how an oversight like that happens, though, on a tour this big.
Exactly.
And since he stopped the shows, he has made non-stop public appearances. So it seems that the schedule was pretty cleared up all along. This cancellation led to many people assuming the tour was not selling as well as he thought it would. And even looking at some of these videos, the crowd looks much weaker than what you would expect. Other than that, every night they...
Oh, what song was that? Oh yeah, I remember seeing something like this. Everybody was just begging. He was like, this is not a good look. I didn't know he canceled some of the tour dates. Wow. Is that why he was at the strip club? He rented it out and was gambling like on the big screen with some liquor or something. If I can find it, I'll put it up here. Is that why? Because he canceled the tour? Scheduling conflicts don't make no sense, if we're gonna be honest. Drake, a scheduling conflict?
This shit basically turns into a charity case with people begging Drake for money. And of course, he had to go on yet another rant on the fakeness of the entertainment industry.
I ain't seen this picture in so long. Like, look at him. Look at him. LeBron don't look no better, but that just...
Crying about everyone who decided to turn their back on him in what he describes as his weakest moment.
For my family, for my friends, for all my collaborators, all the producers, all the other artists that I work with, the ones that didn't turn pussy, I mean the ones that still real, you know.
So Drake clearly is still out to self-victimize himself, and the dude is still extremely hurt. Like at the end of the day, Drake's reputation, fame, and status almost seemed more important to him than the actual money, and now a lot of that has obviously been stripped away. I mean, just looking at that moment from the Oscars, it was the most talked about thing of the night. In terms of the petition he had filed against iHeartRadio, trying to see the payola discovery, they have come to a resolution with iHeart saying, in exchange for documents that showed iHeart did nothing wrong, Drake agreed to drop his petition. No payments were made by either one of us. Remember that Drake's stance was that iHeart had received illegal payments, aka payola, from UMG to boost the radio play of the #1 song in the world. This was settled by a judge with prejudice, meaning that Drake cannot go back and try and open this back up. And that is kind of the exact way I see this UMG lawsuit playing out. And I just really can't shake the thought, like, why did you have to do this, Drake? Like, even if he somehow wins, it sets a horrible precedent for rap, freedom of speech, and really all forms of artistic expression that are protected by that. All this guy had to do was take his L on the chin and move on. He has a big enough fan base, and he just dropped a good enough record where the conversation would have begun to move past the beef. In fact, I think people were getting a little bit fatigued of it, seeing the Grammys, seeing the Super Bowl. I think it felt like 100% done, it felt 100% milked. It felt like the moment had kind of passed, but it's like he just keeps extending it. He keeps turning the stove back on only to burn his own hand. But either way, I want to know what you guys think about this latest update down below.
This for sure is not a clown on Drake party. You know, this is just... somebody gotta say it. Like, you can't just be doing stuff like this. Like, yes, baby, you lost. It's okay. You won last time. You cannot win them all. I really gotta look into why his tour was canceled though. Why did he cancel the rest of his tour? Just like they said, scheduling for Drake? Even if there is a conflict, Drake, they will let Drake go and the other person has to. But like, what else could he be doing? But then didn't we see him at the club gambling? That's what I'm more concerned about. I honestly thought this video was like him responding to what UMG said and like their response to his lawsuit, but no, this is mainly speaking on the lawsuit itself. So maybe there's another video about that. If y'all find it, let me know down in the comments, and leave other videos and topics down there as well. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.